Pudding!
Yay!
Hey everybody, welcome back to Table for Four. I'm Robert with Billy, Nate, and Jeremy, and continuing on our assassinations theme, tonight we cover the Kennedys. We're going to do both JFK and Robert Kennedy, Bobby, as he was affectionately known, tonight.
There's a lot of names there.
And again, those are two very famous political assassinations in our country. The JFK assassination for me holds a bunch of personal connections. My dad's 18th birthday was cut short because of the assassination of JFK. One of the first trips I ever took as a young person was with my brother Donovan. We went to visit our mom in Dallas, and we got to sit underneath the Texas Book Depository, see that Dealey Plaza, walk that area, and it's chilling.
Dealey.
Yeah, and the literally we were running all over the grassy knoll, and so.
Idiots! Get back in the car.
But like any American, we've all seen that footage, and we've all know about that assassination, and
pretty gory.
I personally was not born then.
Okay, but you're familiar with it.
I was. Yeah.
You've seen surely the video.
Yes, I have.
Several famous movies have been made about it.
Conspiracies.
Yes.
Right.
And we were talking about that famous. I guess it was a mini series with what is it, James Franco?
Oh yeah, on the Stephen King book, 11/22/63, which is really it delves into the life of Lee Harvey Oswald, the assassin, of course, that shot JFK from the Texas Book Depository, and that's a tough one to say because there's the famous scene in Full Metal Jacket. Hopefully Nate can play it. That shows Arlie Emery asking about that where Lee Harvey Oswald learned to shoot. And he famously learned to shoot in the Marine Corps.
Anybody know who Lee Harvey Oswald was? Do any of you people know where these individuals learned how to shoot? Private Joker.
Sir! In the Marines, sir!
In the Marines. Outstanding.
Yeah, that book and that docuseries or that movie, the series goes into like a time machine, and if someone could go back and stop the assassination of JFK, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, by no means is it, historically accurate, because I'm sure that there wasn't a time machine, and
but I think the stuff with Lee Harvey Oswald, painstakingly went through the, where he lived and
his communication with Russia,
right?
Which that is really big into, one of.
So, Oswald was a communist.
Well, I don't know. At the end, I don't think he really liked either of them, but he said, our system was failed. At first, he was all for communism, but what?
Well, to me, the politics and all the conspiracy stuff is one thing. The actual facts of the assassination to me are just fascinating.
That he was assassinated.
Yeah, it is pretty wild because you're talking
that for a fact.
For a man to be able to shoot the way he shot as fast with bolt action, being able to do what he did with the gun, that's pretty unbelievable sometimes.
Well, just to have the happenstance to be able to get a job there, and that was like eight months or something before.
Well, think about it. Even it was twisted into the fact that wasn't Oswald also assassinated?
Which we will get into it.
That's very true. Maybe the most famous photograph of any assassination of all time is that shot of Jack Ruby sticking his revolver in Lee Harvey Oswald's gut there in the basement of the Texas Police Department.
Just happened to have cancer and died shortly after.
Well, here's the thing with that is, there's a lot of conspiracy. Well, you can say it's conspiracy, but it was premeditated. Was that an idea from one single man? It's not like the same as with the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan, or hell, even with Abraham Lincoln. What was his goal? So I guess that if you add it up, I mean, that's where half of the stuff, why they say, oh, Russian connection, everything else.
Oh, you got anything from Jimmy Hoffa to people saying that JFK had already signed the paperwork to take us off the Federal Reserve and put us back on the gold standard. I mean, there's so much stuff out there.
Well, yeah,
of people saying
some of
why they would assassinate him. Everything from the unions to the Cubans to, Russia.
Yeah, but
I mean, all over the place.
all I was stating is, the majority of what you probably hear with that one is probably correct. I mean, as far as, us knowing for a fact, I mean, I guess that in itself
Can't
is...
really know for a fact.
I think the only one that wasn't trying to assassinate him was Maryland.
But again,
Happy birthday,
if they leave this,
I'd be okay with that assassination.
What, me in a
She
white
wanted to
dress?
see-
No, Marilyn Monroe, not you in a white
man,
dress.
that would be great. Happy birthday.
And apparently that
Supposed to
Maryland
keep
worked
that
for Robert
Fridays,
too.
not now.
Darn it.
John and Robert had a thing for Maryland, did they not? Or was that like unproven?
Well, I don't know. Started watching the... I guess...
Sorry,
OJ.
Jackie.
OJ,
I was gonna say, sorry, Jackie.
Well, where did you get OJ from? Sorry, OJ.
Onassis, Jackie Onassis. I was gonna say, and I added the two together.
Wow.
My brain was operating faster than my
You
mouth.
got Maryland on your mind.
Yeah, between Maryland, I was apologizing to Jackie for Maryland.
so anyway,
That's twisted.
3 shots rang out. They did a poll, and about 80% of the people that were polled heard 3 distinctive shots. And of course, then they checked that rifle, that Italian bolt action rifle that Oswald shoots from. That checks out as well. 2 of those bullets hit Kennedy. One through his head and one through the lower back, I guess.
So they did.
And then one of those bullets goes through Kennedy, into the seat and into Conley, who's the Texas mayor.
Governor, wasn't it?
Governor? Yeah,
Governor.
right, sorry. Governor of Texas. And of course, he's famously heard screaming out, "Oh no, oh my God, they're going to kill us all." And at that point, Secret Service agent Clint Hills notices that Jackie Kennedy's trying to climb out the back of the car. And he later recounts and says that she was probably trying to grab a piece of Mr. Kennedy that had fallen off.
Yeah. Oh, we'll
And
put it
so-
back in.
He was trying to grab some brain matter.
And I posted a picture on our Instagram of a
was
shot
kinda-
of. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
Of her literally trying to climb out of that car, and you see his face, and it's just bone chilling, because it's the last moments of his life, and those are the first times we have
Well, I mean,
pictures of that.
yeah, I mean, he was probably dead. Well, I don't know. I mean, who's to know? But that's still...
I mean, way he got
Still
shot in
eerie.
the arm, in the firearm, he got shot with. I'm gonna say he probably died pretty instantly.
Yeah. But
Hence
see,
the brain
that was
matter.
another thing is with the 3, people are saying that the 3, it was just one and the rest were echoes. But you did say that they have checked the firearm and it was shown to shot
The ballistics
3
checked
times.
out on
Okay.
that. Yeah, and again, that's what was so amazing. Again, obviously, a lot of this research isn't really research. It all came from this report that Lyndon B. Johnson had ordered, the Warren Report, which again, at that time, was the most exhaustive research project done ever in
Right.
so to weed out any communism or what do you call it, conspiracy theories.
Yeah, because Johnson was the VP, and he wasn't going to leave Dallas without Kennedy's body.
Correct.
Yeah.
There was
Either.
a lot of hubbubaloo or whatever older people say about that, because they were saying put him on a plane, get him back here, and I believe it was Jackie and
Yeah, he was.
and they said no, he's gonna. I mean, not until.
Not until I have the body. That's right.
Yep.
And so he of course is also
And-
sworn in on Air Force One,
Right.
with Jackie by his side. That's another very famous picture. What else to say? Obviously, after that happens, Oswald then leaves and makes his retreat towards a movie theater, and he is accosted by
There's that line again.
yeah,
Nick
he is stopped on the way to this theater by a policeman.
Yep.
Yeah, it's often forgotten that he committed 2 murders that day.
Right.
Officer J.D. Tippett stops him and because he looked shady, looked like he fit the description, I think. And of course, Oswald shoots him with a revolver. So he had a couple guns. He was strapped, as the kids like to say, when he was going there.
Do they say that now?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
My
Maybe.
7-year-old says that.
I feel like yeah, probably
I
right.
feel like that's also the plot of a movie.
What's that?
Shooter.
Okay, I thought you were going to say the strap was up on a
No
movie.
way.
I was like, what kind of movies are you watching here now? What are we watching?
Tonight on 4 Guys and 1 Table.
After Dark.
Oh boy.
Like, oh, it's all right, kids. You can watch
Cinemax
it.
version.
Oh, he said after dark. No, kids, go to bed. Go to bed.
No,
But
it's okay. It's okay.
And once again, we've gone sideways.
you really
I
got
mean, that's
saying
a
that.
position I guess you could.
Here on After Dark. Okay, but no, there was a lot going on with as far as transporting the body. Some would say that the autopsy for that was completely botched. There are some photos that have been leaked of that occurrence. Was it him where his suit was stolen? It was actually put in a museum. Was it his or was it his brother's?
I think it was his brother's.
Okay.
But
Is his brother? It wasn't.
But yeah,
Robert.
that supposedly that whole autopsy was bad because they said no, you can't move the body from where it was, that we have to do the autopsy, and then of course Washington was saying no, we're going to do our own autopsy.
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 I mean, am I correct with
No,
that?
yeah. I mean, again,
So, I mean, as far as disgrace to the Kennedy name, I mean, they did not do that as any justice at all. I mean, I wasn't born then, but from what I hear, I mean, he did great things. I mean, and for them to treat him in such bad taste, again, whether that was, I don't think it was intentional. It was probably lack of.
again, in those moments, in those situations, again, protocol sometimes gets overlooked, and regular people become heroes become goats, and but again, I think that's that of course, again, 5 years later we have his
So everybody knows GOAT is greatest of all time.
You talking about
5
the
years
car?
later we have his younger brother is now running for president. He hadn't become president yet, but had secured the nomination for his party, without mentioning parties, and was giving a speech in California at a hotel, and it's coming through the kitchen after, I believe he had just finished his speech or was
He just finished,
Which-
yeah, and it was
yeah.
crowded, and the security detail really didn't want him to go in there. And he kind of had it all thrown together because during that time, you really didn't have the Secret Service you have today. They didn't pay for it, so it was on his own private security team.
well, I can say
It's not
this.
really.
Because I worked at a
Probably the reason
hotel
we have
when
Secret
we
Service
had
to
a
do it.
president stay at our hotel, and in the early
Different
90s,
security.
Bill Clinton stayed at the Hotel Del Coronado where I worked. And obviously it's a different time, but they had a fleet of everywhere.
Right.
Their people, and you know what I mean. And again, probably a lot of that is because of how this and we did some. He hadn't become president yet, and some laws were changed after Robert Kennedy's killed because to give them Secret Service privileges. May have
Right.
I don't know. We don't know if it prevented this, but so anyway, he's coming through the kitchen.
Well, yeah, and he was actually
after-
supposed to take a different direction.
Right.
I guess that's what he was going
Right,
for.
that he was.
He was supposed to take a different direction. He didn't. That's where it goes into wrong place, wrong time. He ended up going through the kitchen, and then, of course, he was... what's his name was?
Sirhan waited there
in
behind
the
an ice
kitchen.
machine, you know.
Was he Pakistani?
He was
That one should be easy to locate. It's on Wikipedia.
He was shot with...
22 revolver.
Revolver.
And so again, he shoots him 3 times, one in the brain, a couple in the back.
Kennedy's just like getting shot in the brain, huh?
Man, you
I mean,
know.
that's kind of sad to say, but
Well, assassin's like shooting people in the brain.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
kind of like one of the
quick, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think about
go-to
it,
shots for an
well,
assassin.
Yeah, that I mean, you gotta think.
Unless you're a
that-
ninja, then you're a natural born assassin with poisons, throwing darts.
There's a
Chinese
very
stars.
famous photograph as Robert Kennedy was laying on the ground with the busboy Juan Romero as he sat and held him. Hopefully Nate can find that picture. But the bodyguards that he had, which is kind of interesting. Robert Kennedy had not real bodyguards. He had like Rosie Greer and the Olympian. I've forgotten his name, but those were because he was not president yet, and he didn't have the. Although again, I feel like Kennedy should have been able to hire real bodyguards.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they would have had a little more money. Than
Well, he did hire these guys.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I mean,
he
for
hired
the
an Olympian,
time-
and that was half his budget.
I mean, back.
I mean,
And they tackled Sirhan. He was captured right there.
Right,
and-
but for that time, that's what you thought of security.
Well, I mean,
You know,
that was
it isn't
kind of
like
like
today's day
after
and
the
age.
fact, if you think
I
about
mean,
it.
it wasn't common for people to go out and shoot people with guns. I mean, it just didn't happen as often. That's like, it's just kind of a misconception. That's even like in the Old West. It's really kind of a misconception where people think, hey, these guys are walking around town shooting each other with 6-shooters. No, that didn't happen. Same thing here. And that's why they have lackluster security where
Well,
they
that
do
can
not
happen
today.
sometimes.
Because it's more
Yeah.
common today than what it was back then. And that's that's a whole nother story.
Correction, in the West, it kind of was.
What, in the West? No,
No,
it wasn't.
not all
No,
the
that's a
time.
misconception. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't all the time. but
Very,
yes.
very rare.
But-
Very rare. Extremely rare.
But anyway, back to Robert.
We'll do another
Robert,
show on
back to
that.
Robert Kennedy.
Tombstone, sir.
That's a movie.
He
Misconception.
so then he dies. And
He dies.
Very rare. I promise you.
Okay,
Now
and
again,
I'm just saying that actually happened.
Yeah, but very
Sirhan,
rare.
Sirhan.
is
need to visit him.
found guilty. He
Yes.
is currently living in beautiful San Diego, California, at the Richard J. Donovan facility there, which
He went up for parole, 2015.
denied.
Denied.
Yeah,
No
So
freedom for you, sir.
he's still there getting
he is.
getting his man pudding tossed.
Yep. Hopefully, again. When I first read about the bullet and it said long rifle, I was confused because I just assumed that was descriptive of what the firearm was, but it's not. That's,
No, it's
that's
just a
descriptive
round.
of the
Yeah,
round.
It's a 22 LR, and I mean it has a little more poof, but yeah, it's still 22, which I mean that's
Small.
still
Yeah, because you have 22 mag also, but
which it's
Right.
boom.
And of course, the bunch of conspiracy theories surrounding Robert F. Kennedy. He was Attorney General under his brother. Started stuff with Jimmy Hoffa.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of mob connection with the Kennedys.
Yeah.
Which yeah.
And that gets into some of the conspiracy theories with Oswald
Oh yeah.
Maryland.
and yeah.
Right.
Oh,
And Morpheus.
we did talk about the death
In
of
Maryland.
Oswald, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We did.
Well,
Yeah, we covered
kinda-
the death of Oswald.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, the
We kind
death
of just
of
said
Ruby.
he got shot by Ruby.
Okay.
That's
and how
kinda-
Ruby
yeah.
died of
Yeah.
cancer shortly after.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
just
okay.
We did, we got into all that.
All right.
Lost.
Robert was a little bit different. It was. I don't think he had quite as many enemies as JFK. I think RFK probably just happened to be at the wrong place, at the wrong time, ran into the wrong person.
Well, half of these that
I mean,
was the case.
Again, lives cut. Certainly, for Bobby Kennedy, he
I think JFK's was more planned.
yeah.
I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
RFK's
Well, yeah,
was just
yeah.
an opportunity,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely.
a seized
Yeah.
moment. Carpe diem.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Yeah.
Take us home.
Well, again, thanks for tuning into us. Leave your comments below. Hit the like button if you liked it. Tell us what you'd like to see.
Tell your friends. We are getting better and leaving comments on how we can make it better.
And if we're not getting better, it's not my fault. Yeah.
It's all the ginger's fault.
It's the
Getting better all the time.
and hit that bell so
All
you
right.
know whenever we put up a new video.
Better, better. Bye-bye. Bye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
There you are calling
Happy
people baby again.
birthday, Mr. President.
Tonight we cover a big one. The Kennedys. Two of the most famous assassinations.
He started it. I did not.
Two big ones? What was funny? I don't know, two big ones.
Tonight we cover a big one.
We cover a big one. It's a big one. The John F. JFK is the first televised one, right? First famous that we have. I mean,
Yeah.
Although I think there was a Japanese one I was doing research.
I think they went south, Robert. They went south.
Japanese
on it.
All right.
big one? No, I
That
call
was
lie.
the first. I call it right. So now I remember.
And he's just saying with
God,
JFK
the
and
racism in this room.